Hey, what's going on, everyone? Vega here for SerpentX Tech. Hope you have yourself a wonderful day. This is an episode or a live stream that we do every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time called Caffeine and Crypto, where I invite you to join me with your favorite caffeinated beverage of choice, energy drink, coffee, tea, whatever you got, as we go over this week's crypto news, what's going on, maybe a couple different articles in different areas. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about Dogecoin. And we're obviously going to be talking about Nvidia GPUs, or at least the latest launch of the Nvidia 50 series. But, as you can see, the market is meh again. Not really seeing too much. We crest over 100,000, and we have since been kind of just in this range. Let's say a range of 90 to 99, right? XRP, one of the strongest performers out of all the coins out there, compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum, but still, Ethereum below 4K, Bitcoin below 100K. XRP still in the $2.40 range, or let's say $2 up range. ADA fell down below $1. BNB back below 700. So a lot of the altcoins taking a hit. They were doing good for a bit there once Bitcoin stabilized, and I love this new dashboard by Coin360. Pretty cool. You can see Bitcoin changed in the past 24 hours by 0.78. XRP changed by 5%. Again, XRP being one of the strongest performers compared to everybody else. You can customize your dashboard if you create an account. It's pretty cool. And you can see, latest news, top 20 tokens, 24-hour growth, 24-hour fall, trading view charts, so on and so forth. So Coin360 team, good job on the dashboard. Really loving it. Top 5 tokens, as you can see, is Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Binance, and Solana. Look at Solana, man. Solana below 200. Holding at 187. All right, before we get into the TA, I will just give you a quick rundown of the articles that I plan on doing in today's live stream. Bitcoin dips below 98K. Strong U.S. economic data leads to 300 million worth of crypto liquidations. Bitcoin braced for a huge earthquake as Fed shock fuels crypto price crash. Crypto wild week, 190 billion wiped out as market stages a fragile comeback. Bitcoin analysts explain why Bitcoin could avoid a drop under 90K, trying to stay above 90K. Bitcoin drops below 97. So a lot of Bitcoin drops. Traders warn Trump trades are coming into conflict and could prove a headwind to the Bitcoin rally. Don't buy the dip, says one Bitcoin magazine's article writer named Frank Corva. Don't buy the dip. We'll talk more about why they might have written that. That's a personal opinion piece, but I'm going to give you my personal opinion, not financial advice. And then, have Bitcoin ETFs lived up to the hype? The guy that was looking for all his Bitcoin that could be on a hard drive, the court has ended the man's hope of recovering the 750 million Bitcoin hard drive from the Welsh landfill. Hard drive storing 8,000 Bitcoin were lost over 10 years ago. The government probably has it now. And then we're going to lead off with some crypto news at the tail end here when we get ready to end the stream before Red Panda Mining. And then talk about Nvidia 5000 series. And I think you know what I'm going to talk about. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to send a super chat or just at me in the live chat. I'm just going to get rocking and rolling on all the news and start rolling. 219 million Doge stuns major crypto exchange Coinbase. What's happening? So yeah, 2 major transactions on Coinbase. Dogecoin whale. What's happening? So we'll talk about that more towards the end of the stream. So looking at the TA, always zooming out. We are down on the daily, right? We're putting in lower highs and lower lows. I mean, could you say that we haven't fell as low as back here December 5th? Yes, most certainly. But I'm pretty sure the market bought that back up, as you can see how long, that's almost a Darth Maul wick, but it's not a Darth Maul wick. I guess it's kind of sort of one. But yeah, we haven't hit as low as December 5th, but this low right here on the 9th, which is only a couple days ago, is lower than previous lows, right? And this high is lower than previous high. So we'll see. I think we can still recover. Things are tightening, as you can see here, between the Bollinger Bands. But was that the top? Was Bitcoin's rally to almost 109K it? Was that the bull market? Is it already over? A lot of people are speculating yes, and then a lot of people are speculating no. So that's why the fear and greed indicator is kind of like 50-50 right now. The bulls and the bears are strongly against one another and just hammering each other. Moving on to the articles, Bitcoin dips below 98K. Strong U.S. economic data leads to $3 million worth of crypto liquidations. Crypto markets stumbled with Bitcoin losing about 100K level on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, U.S. Morning, as two stronger than expected U.S. economic data prints through cold water on digital assets. Bright early momentum. The Burl. Oh, thank you, Rudd, for being a member, a techie of the channel for 22 months. Let's go. Appreciate you being in there, an OG, and always sending me the good morning. And it's Friday stuff, as always, Rudd. Retro Mike, how you doing? Crypto Pounder 4, Automatic Beach, Jay Bohannon, and Crypto Craig. If you're watching live on YouTube, please hit that like button. If you're watching live on X, please let me know. Send a comment or something. Let me know where you're at. But anyways. Released at the same time, the ISM, or Service Purchasing Margin Managers Index, a monthly gauge of the level of economic activity in the service sector, came in at a 54.1 for December, overshooting expectations for 53 and nicely ahead of November's 52. The price paid sub-index came in red hot at 64 compared to expected 57.5 and 58.2 previously. While neither report generally tends to be much of a market mover, combined, they further shook up, what the hell? Everything just went weird for a second. Sorry, give me 1 second. So basically, while normally not impacting markets, they shook it up, right? Jittered the bond market, sending a 10-year U.S. Treasury yield higher by another 5 basis points to 4.68. And with a few ticks of multi-year highs, the move took U.S. stocks lower, with the NASDAQ now off by more than 1% in the morning action, and S&P 500 lower by 0.4%. I'm just going to tell you what, I'm hearing. People are worried. People are worried, not just for crypto, but people are worried for the stock market. And people are worried for the economic conditions. Some people are really wondering if we're going to have a recession. But as you can see, Bitcoin traded between certain ranges, yada, 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 dipped down. Altcoins major decline even more, with Ethereum and Solana losing about 6-7%. So Avalanche and Chainlink tumbled 8 to 9%. The swift decline in prices liquidated nearly 300 million in long positions, according to CoinGlass. And their strong data also has investors looking further, rolling back their expectations of rate cuts in 2025. With the rate cuts coming from the Fed, and kind of taking like a stand back and see, pausing situation, that's not good for the market, right? Usually when we pause, markets are stagnant. We cut, markets pump. We raise, markets dump. But I see people shuffling the deck, right? People that are got exposure in bonds, traditional stocks, or traditional finance and crypto are shuffling the decks, right? And so you're seeing a lot of moving pieces going around right now. While the market participants have already written off any chance of a rate cut in the January meeting from the Fed, they now see a 37% chance of easing move on central bank's March meeting, down from nearly 50% just a week ago, according to the CME Fed Watch tool. Looking out even further, the odds of a rate cut in May are also now well below 50%. Scanning all of 2025, we now only price in roughly around 1.25 basis point rate cut, or 25 basis point cut. So only one rate cut for the entire year of 2025 is what the markets are speculating. You know how the markets are. They try to price things in. It can sometimes be wrong, right? Even if the market's trying to price something in, they can be wrong on a signal. And then here we go. And then once we get the actual signal, we can either pump, chop sideways even more or longer, or take a huge dip. We'll see how things go. I wouldn't panic too much, but be cautious. I do agree with the be cautious sentiment right now. Only Nespresso today. Oh, got that fancy coffee. Bitcoin braced for a huge earthquake as Fed shock fuels crypto price dip. Obviously, talking about the Fed and how the rate cuts and how many rate cuts might happen this year. This is ultimately what a lot of articles are going to be talking about. But the Bitcoin price dropped to around 92K per Bitcoin, restarting a sell-off that lost steam earlier this week. Amid fears of looming Bitcoin price crash. Now, Tesla billionaire Elon Musk issues a surprising Bitcoin price warning. Crypto traders are scrambling to assess what the latest changes in Fed rate cut expectations mean for Bitcoin. Of course, when Elon says something, he oftentimes either messes up the markets or fuels the craze, especially all the meme coin crazes out there. Bitcoin's retreat to below 93K highlights the growing influence of macro conditions, says Rise Labs, and liquidations total over $1 billion this week, with long positions accounting for a majority as traders were forced to unwind leverage bets. The U.S. economy added about 256,000 jobs in December, the biggest monthly increase since March, smashing expectations of 155 jobs. The unemployment rate has fell below 4.1. And there's some indicators there. I know a lot of people, especially in crypto, don't care about that. But if you factor in all the numbers that I'm giving to you, a lot of people are using that and saying, oh, are we due for a recession? And a lot of people have been calling for a recession since about middle or Q2 of 2024. So while the Fed has been working to, complete a soft landing, I wouldn't say we have landed yet. They've been doing good. May have not done the best, but they're doing good in retrospect. And it's like we got the wheels are coming down really close to the landing, the deck, but we haven't touched down yet. So we'll see how things go. But yeah, the latest data is enforcing the Fed's decision to hold interest rates steady for after cutting them by a full percentage point throughout 2024, with traders previously betting that interest rates would continue to fall in 2025. Expectations for higher or longer U.S. interest rates also sent bond yields sharply higher. And I know some people that moved into bonds because of that, or moved into bonds because they expected that. One of the two. I don't know if they have inside information that I don't, but I know I don't know crap. And nobody tells me until after it happens. Anyways, U.S. Treasury yield spiking to its highest levels since late 2023, weighing on equities as a lure of higher returns on bonds makes stocks and risk assets like Bitcoin and crypto less attractive. Again, the lure of high returns on bonds, right? Because the bond market took a crap. Hence the reason why people were going to risk on assets. And now the bonds with the higher returns are returning. The risk on assets like Bitcoin and crypto are less attractive. There's a risk that Bitcoin dips below 92K again, which could worsen Bitcoin's technical sentiment, and the price may extend its losses to about 80K, says a gentleman, Yoya from Tokyo-based BitBank. This week saw an aggressive sell-off of Bitcoin, price from 103K. I saw 102K and some change. High to around 91.5. John Glover, the chief investment officer for crypto lending platform Lend, said that the email comments adding that they could dip between 80 to 85K if support above 90K fails. So let's go look at that on the chart. But long story short, the recent market indicators, and you're going to see a lot of this in most of the articles, the recent market indicators, right? Whether it's the employment rate, the unemployment rate, jobs posting, CPI, Fed taking a pause, doing this. The Fed one is definitely the one that has the most weight behind it, right? So pay attention to the Fed meetings and kind of go from there. But if we were to fall, let's say all the way down to $80,000 Bitcoin, right? Let's say 80,185. That's a 14, almost 15% dip. Again, well within the realm of possible, right? Because Bitcoin has had 15 up, 15 down, but they also had 13 up, or 30 up and 30 down. Now, I talked privately, and if you want, just so you know, there is an event that we're putting on in the Jellyfish Discord. I just randomly threw it together because a lot of people want help with liquidity. This has nothing to do with Caffeine Crypto and the market news that we're talking about. But if you're in Solana and you like messing around with meme coins, Jellyfish is a meme coin with a strong community behind it by one of our fellow content creators called Brandon Coin. A lot of people just need help understanding, because they're mostly miners. You might understand liquidity, but most of the miners don't. How to add liquidity, how to do this, how to do that. So there's going to be an event in their Discord about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that I'm going to be hosting. And yeah, I'm going to just be providing and educating as best I can. But I would say dollar cost averaging, which is, if you paid attention to my Twitter, right, when the markets dipped, right, when we were climbing up 100K and we started coming back down, right, I put in some positions, right, $10 here, $20 there, $5 there, not much, right, dollar cost average. And you can do it on Cash App, you can do it on Coinbase, Advanced Trade, whatever. But basically all I'm doing is looking at the chart, looking at expectations, previous low, previous short-term high, and I'm setting targets, right? So if Bitcoin falls to 94K, if Bitcoin falls to 92K, 91K, and lo and behold, as I'm working, those positions filled, and then we're back up according to those positions or compared to those current positions. But still, Bitcoin, 90K Bitcoin, I can see why people are hesitant to buy Bitcoin, right? Because like, wow, I got Bitcoin back when it was at $3,200. I got Bitcoin back when it was at blah, 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 blah. I understand that, but I'm just stacking. Not only am I trying to mine currency, I'm just trying to stack as much as I possibly can, because I do believe in the long term, right? If we ignore the concerns in 2025, I do believe in the long term that Bitcoin can be a multi $100,000 asset, right? Whether it's 150K, 200K, 300K, in the long term, I can certainly see that. Now, we'll see how things pan out. I will say right now is not a good time to have a black swan event. If we had a black swan event right now, that would really screw the markets. I'd be more concerned about the people impacted by the black swan event, right? Because we got those fires on the west coast of the United States. We still got global tensions throughout the world. We got crazy weather, cold weather sweeping through the mid-east, I guess you could say. So people are being impacted by stuff, right? Power outages, down this, lost homes, whatever. Maybe they might need to sell whatever assets in order to cover the cost of replacement, fixing, resolving, whatever it might be. So this is what I call the building, right? After the holidays, usually the markets build up from there. So yeah, we could fall down to somewhere in the 80K range. 15% pullback is not out of the norm. You know, to fall down into the 70s, definitely I think there's going to be some support. Like we got some support at the 78K range. We got some support in the 87K area. And we're on support literally right now if we're looking at the daily EMA. But I think there's going to be additional support levels as we fall, picking that up. But just because you picked up Bitcoin when it fell to a certain level and it goes down even further doesn't mean you should panic. That just means you should consider your portfolio and see if you're willing to buy a little bit more and accumulate on the way down, despite this article saying don't buy the Bitcoin dip. But that's up to you to decide. You need to understand your risk tolerance, and you need to understand what your financial situation is. If you're taking the money that you should be spending on paying your car bill or your mortgage, then you're fucking up. So be smart, look at the data, and don't follow everyone else. I will say, as many people have said, when everyone's greedy, be fearful, and when everyone's fearful, be greedy. You do what's best for you. Anyways, this article again goes over how the past week cryptocurrency has declined, shedding 190 billion since January 4th. Friday, the weekend nears. The market exhibited modest recovery, small recovery of about 2.2%. Then they named some tokens here. Rocket while crypto economy battles setbacks. So we've got some new tokens that are launching and they're creating some buzz. XRP, again, is one of the strongest assets, or strongest performers, out of all the other assets. Dogecoin, performed pretty well. ADA, Tron, so on and so forth, but they have since declined. So this article was written earlier this week talking about the liquidations and how some altcoins have recovered, but it has since declined. Bitcoin analysis explained why Bitcoin could avoid the 90K drop. So let's see what they say here. The next psychological support range remains under 90K, and some market analysts continue to forecast a decline below that level. So remember when I said back here we have a support on the daily of around 87.8K. My psychological level is that 88K range. That 88K range is the next one that I believe will be significant support, but we'll have to see. And I think there's a chart that you can pull up. Some of you guys are better at TA than myself. I'm never claimed to be a TA expert, technical analysis expert, but you can see the support levels because of the bars it mentions at each level. But the following 4 reasons suggest Bitcoin may avoid a drop below 90K. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index drops to a 3-month low. Coin index recently plunged. Okay, so we were in greed. We're back down to neutral. Bitcoin metrics indicate market peak is not in yet. So it's saying here that the market peak for Bitcoin is not in yet. You can see this peak right here. And then versus some of the other metrics and stuff like that. Bitcoin whales bought 34,000 Bitcoin after the end of the year, right? So there's a lot of whales that bought Bitcoin during the downturn in the holidays. They're expecting that those whales are going to probably want to gobble up some more. And some of those whales bought at pretty, the all-time high. Some of them, not all of them. Large players look to take advantage of the consolidation, open TWAP positions, patiently accumulating just below 95K. So they're accumulating little by little. I'm accumulating little by little. Not a lot, but little by little. Selling coins at this juncture might prove to be a very unwise decision, says a quote. Selling 6.5 billion in Bitcoin in 6 trading days seems impossible, right? One key bearish catalyst impacting Bitcoin price over the past 2 days has been a rumor surrounding the U.S. government potentially selling over 6.5 billion in Bitcoin. And I think that goes with another article that we have coming up here. With DJT taking office January 20th, Maya highlighted the complexity of selling such high amounts of Bitcoin during an imminent key political event. The issue gets more complicated because Trump said he plans to establish a Bitcoin reserve, which means it will potentially be a topic of discussion during his official appointment. In short, the crypto enthusiasts argued that a reversal is more likely for Bitcoin since the market is already priced in a bearish speculation. After sweeping the lows below the previous range in the daily chart, Bitcoin liquidity pools are now chasing the upside as indicated by Milky Bull. Although a wick below 90K for Bitcoin remains possible, the analysts predict that a V-shaped recovery could be in the cards. This is the same thing again. Slumps down, treasury yields, bonds, yada, 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 looking good, looking attractive, luring people over. And Federal Reserve, could put a pause on rate cuts, yada, yada, yada. So most of these articles are talking about the same thing, the same key indicators that have impacted the market and why Bitcoin is down. But Willy Woo makes a comment here, advises caution over the coming months as crypto analysis are optimistic that Bitcoin has a high probability of a reversal. Yeah. Let's see here. Risk is peaking for the first time this cycle, and there's a ton of profit in coins that have been selling and plenty more profit taking to go before we properly reset, says Willy Woo on an X post. He said that although Bitcoin sentiment seems uber bullish, market participants should opt for a more cautious approach in the coming months. He highlighted the Bitcoin local risk model, which indicates risk levels not seen since January 2023. And this is the model that he's talking about. I can't really see the numbers down here. But yeah, January 2023, I think is right here. The overall market still has greed appetite. According to the Fear and Greed Index, which measures market sentiment for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, the index currently reads a greed score of 69, up 19% from the neutral score, after Bitcoin retraced from 100K level on January 8th, remaining below this level ever since. Other traders say there's a high probability of a reversal, right? Which means we're going to be marching our way up. Reporting that the U.S. Federal Reserve December non-farm payrolls, or NFP, data beat expectations, so showing a stronger labor market. NFP pressured risk assets across the board and was joined by lower than anticipated unemployment figures. We already talked about that. Rec Capital said on January 10th that Bitcoin's 15% pullback from its brief all-time high of 108K December 17th aligns with pattern seen in previous cycles. So Bitcoin's doing what Bitcoin has always done. Just be patient, just be cautious. The timing of this retrace is in line with historical tendencies. As a result, it's highly probable of a reversal, says Rec Capital. Also, we have another quote here from Samson saying that if you understand the macro landscape, you understand that all dips are fake now. They are just manufactured to lower Bitcoin price for big players. And we've been talking about that for quite a while. That while the Bitcoin price is down, and maybe some FUD is being released by news articles, outlets, influencers. You got the big boys, the whales, the 1%, 3%, whatever you want to call it, the people that have buku money accumulating over time, banks accumulating over time. Even though we talked about in the past how certain aspects of the government have warned, like the FDIC have warned banks against crypto exposure. Meanwhile, the government's thinking about doing a Federal Reserve. We'll see how that thing turns out. But 2 crypto trades, this is something that was referenced in the article. 2 Trump crypto trades are coming into conflict and could prove a headwind to the Bitcoin rally. And I think the article was talking about trying to sell 6.5 billion right now is not possible. 6.5 billion Bitcoin in 6 trading days seems impossible. So we see here $6.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, not 6.5 billion Bitcoin, but yeah, $6.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, because there's only 21 million Bitcoin. Moving on. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please at me or send a super chat. Crypto Craig says, imagine how many wallets were took by the fires in LA. Yeah, Kyle, I got to meet Kyle one time. A couple of the content creators that were even at CES lost their houses. A lot of regular folks lost everything that they had in their life. So prayers and thoughts, positive vibes go out to those individuals. I mean, it sucks. It really sucks. And I'm not going to get political on this channel. I try to avoid those discussions. I have my own political stance, but I don't like discussing it in the channel because I want to kind of produce an open and objective and data/fact-driven discussions amongst the community here on this channel. But I do have my own personal views. And going back to the fires, I don't like the fact that it's being politicized. I'm tired of politicizing people's misery, people's homes being lost, destruction, nature being wrecked. I'm tired. That shit pisses me off. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Moving back, don't buy the Bitcoin dip, says Frank here. With Bitcoin dipping below 100K, blah, blah, blah. I bet you he just expects that Bitcoin's going to dip further, and that's your time to buy. But remember, time in the market beats time in the market. Trying to time the perfect positions, right? The first that I'm trying to keep you from becoming is exit liquidity for people like this. Says the bread man here. You can see here, we're coming. The pump is over. The retards are coming. I don't like that, but that is pretty funny. The second is I like to buy Bitcoin when it's truly selling at a discount, not just when it appears to be selling at one. Right now, Bitcoin is trading at 13% off of its all-time high. While that may be significant discount for asset in the world of traditional finance, it's hardly more than a daily fluctuation in the world of Bitcoin. That's true. Right on the short term, Bitcoin is at a discount. On the long term, Bitcoin is not at a discount. So I agree with that mindset. But yeah, basically, in summary, right, they're trying to maximize their returns, their financial upside. So it looks like Frank is just going to wait longer for that expected 80K, 77K pullback before they gain more exposure into Bitcoin. Which, by the way, if you're looking to get to the Bitcoin conference, I got some discount codes you can use as well. Let me know if you are buying tickets. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be able to make it. That trip to Vegas is expensive, and I don't have any sponsors. But I can at least give you the link so that way you can save money and go have a great time and record some content for the community. Very pleased recently to see a number of our colleagues at CES. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. Love CES, but again, that's another one. Anything in Vegas, especially when they're only like a month apart, a month or a couple months apart, is super expensive, at least for my household. That's why I'm trying to accumulate Bitcoin in various positions, right? I'm trying to build financial wealth for the future of my family. I would love to just dump it all and buy some stupid car or buy some stupid toy that I want. But as a responsible adult, I know there's more to life than that. And don't adjust your TV set. Yes, I know I'm gray, salt and pepper, I'm old, whatever. But I still try to make content for you guys, so just ignore all this. Enjoy the gray beards, because there's a lot of them. And without the gray beards, your fucking internet won't work. All right. Moving on. Have Bitcoin ETFs lived up to the hype? I think they have. What do you guys think? Let's go ahead and throw a poll up real quick because you guys are very quiet. Do you believe or feel that the BTC ETFs have lived up to the hype? There's going to be a poll on YouTube. I'll see if I can throw one up on X for you guys. For those watching on X, again, if you're watching on X, I really appreciate you stopping by. So we're going to go ahead and just post that there. And then I'm going to go to X right now and do a poll. We're going to do it for 1 day. And throw a couple of hashtags in here. But do you believe that the Bitcoin ETFs have lived up to the hype? Do you feel they're lacking? If you do feel they're lacking, what do you feel they're lacking on? Like, what would it take for you to be happy? I know it takes a lot for people to be happy, but what do you believe it would take for people to be happy? All right. You know, obviously since the launch, blah, 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 you know, we've seen some significant gains, a lot of exposure, right? Because a lot of people they don't want to be they don't want to self-custody their own Bitcoin. They just want to allocate a percentage of their portfolio, talk to their business management fund. Hey, move this to that, move that to this. Hey, what do you think about this? Like, they want somebody else to do it, right? Convenience, right? When you're that wealthy, usually people need other people to do their jobs, right? To take care of the yard, take care of the pool, have a maid, you know, manage their wealth, manage their real estate, manage their investments, whatever, right? So they rather just call, text, reach out to their financial wealth advisor, and then make them do it. So ETFs did open up the door for many others to gain that exposure, plain and simple. Good, strong start. I agree with that. There was definitely a good, strong start. We saw a lot of people leave from Grayscale and moved over to iBit and many others. And we've been consistently in an upward trend. Yeah, there's been some significant sell-offs, but usually those significant sell-off has basically turned into, it just felt like it was swapping hands. It was going from this ETF, then out of the market for a little bit because they had to wait a certain grace period, like on Grayscale, and then back into another ETF, and then from this ETF and into this ETF. And don't forget, there's other ETFs out there besides Bitcoin, right? Obviously, gold, Ethereum, possibly others in the future. So we'll see how things go. But the first gold ETF only had around 9% of the USD inflows as Bitcoin's ETFs in the first year. That's significant. Gold ETFs garnered around 3.45 billion in the first year. A fraction of Bitcoin ETF at 37.5 billion in inflows over the same period. That's crazy. All right, so there's a lot of interest in Bitcoin is basically what it's saying. Following the launch of the ETFs, initial price movements were underwhelming, right? That was true. ETFs launch, people were like, what the hell? Like people, it's going to be a lagging effect. But people were like, what the hell? And then it finally started going off. There was a decline. Basically, buy the rumor, sell the news event. And then obviously things got bearish, but then things got bullish as Bitcoin returned to new all-time highs prior to the Bitcoin halving. When accounting for Bitcoin's 24/7 trading schedule, which results in roughly 5.3 times more yearly trading hours than gold, right? That's a lot of trading hours or availability compared to gold. A striking similarity emerges by overlapping Bitcoin's first year of ETF price action with gold's historical data. Adjusting for trading hours, we can see almost the same percent of returns. If Bitcoin continues to follow gold's pattern, we could see an additional 80% increase by mid-2025, potentially pushing Bitcoin's price to around 188K. Where's that chart? Is this the one? Or we're overlapping? I can't see it. Okay, here we go. BTC time-adjusted returns to gold are incredibly similar since ETF approval. So adjusting for time or trading hours. Okay, so this is gold. And then here's Bitcoin. Meh. I don't know how much similarity we could draw from that, but Bitcoin being a 150K asset, at least in 2025, I certainly think it's possible. But they're saying 188. And I think 2026 might be a down year. If you look at the yearly, matter of fact, let's go look at that. If you look at the yearly on Bitcoin, can I do that? Because I don't pay for this shit. All right, hang on. Let's go to the Bitcoin USD one. Oh, not. Wait. I need more data. I don't have it. But long story short, if you look at the data for Bitcoin USD, basically, oh shit. I drew that a while ago. How the hell? I almost got this wick right, and I almost got that wick right. Interesting. Anyways, the data shows that it's usually like 3 green, red, 3 green, red over the past couple of years. But we'll see how that pans out. So we got one more green year in 2025 with a red one coming in 2026. And I certainly think, I believe that's possible. What is up with all these drawings? Oh, that was my drawing for expected price. So how far off? So if I would have moved this way. Hey! Kind of, sort of. No, not really. Kind of, sort of. Yeah. Kind of, sort of. Wow, my drawings. Maybe I should just draw on a piece of paper and there you go. There's the future. Anyways, I'm joking. Nobody can tell you the future or the price of Bitcoin. You're just going to have to take bits and pieces of data, understand your risk, and be smart and do what's best for you. But yeah, I mean, supply and demand, Bitcoin ETFs, the launch was meh. Things got better. Price started to pick up. It's an additional highway or avenue for people to gain exposure to Bitcoin. I like it. I think you did good. High court ruling ends man's hope of recovering 750 million Bitcoin hard drive from the Welsh landfill. Hard drive storing of 8,000 Bitcoins was lost over 10 years ago. I mean, like, why won't you just, well, if they can't find it, then you're screwed. But I was going to say, like, why don't you hire a team or, like, find somebody on the inside at the landfill that can, like, you know, yo, hey, if you find it, I'll give you a cut. Like, you may be stopped from recovering it, but maybe you can find somebody that goes in there and finds it for you. But look, 750 million in Bitcoin on a hard drive, right? This is Bitcoin that will never be in the circulating supply. Which, matter of fact, let's go do that real quick. Bitcoin to USD. What's 150 million? Or 750? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, almost 8,000 Bitcoin. So 8,000 Bitcoins out. It's out. It's out. Never going to see it again. Never going to see it again. So we'll see how things turn out. Unfortunately, the legal arguments didn't pan out well. It ended, and now they're stopping him. I wonder if they found it. I wonder if the government found it, and they're keeping the funds. Like, no, you can't. No, you can't have it. You can't recover it. You threw it out 10 plus years ago. Your trash is our treasure. Like, no, I don't want you going through the landfill and causing, causing expenses, right? Because you got to have the people at the landfill dig and search and move material and that and this and the other. But still, I mean, $750 million worth of Bitcoin. Why couldn't you just pay for it once you find it? Because there's no guarantee to find it. The likelihood of being able to find it is very low. We don't know. But be careful what you throw out. Make sure you have everything backed up. Your seed phrases, your private keys. I wouldn't back it up on your computer that you go and watch porn and do stupid stuff on. You know, maybe have a dedicated laptop or something, and then have a backup image of that drive, or a backup on a different drive, right? Like, have multiple drives backed up. Like, just be smart, you know, because if you lose that seed phrase, if you lose that private key, if you lose that application, because some applications, when you go to install it, won't see your wallet.dat file. That's normally found in your GPU mining tokens, right? There's a core wallet, a full node wallet that syncs with the chain, and then you get a wallet.dat file in your roaming folder. And then if you don't back that up, because you didn't get a seed phrase or the private key, because it's just a wallet.dat file, and you don't back that up, you know, you're stuck like Chuck. So back that up. Any wallets that do give you a private key and a seed phrase, store that in a safe location, safe environment. Just be careful. And then last but not least, before we move on to Nvidia, because I want to hear your thoughts, we're going to end that poll here in a minute, is 219 million Doge whale. Let's see here. So unknown wallet transferred 106 million Doge from an unknown wallet to Coinbase. And did they have the other transaction? So that's a lot of Doge being moved to Coinbase. And usually deposits to exchanges may indicate a desire to sell, while withdrawals might imply buying. That said, a deposit to Coinbase could indicate that whales are preparing to sell. Whales may need to free up liquidity for other investments or to cover operational costs. The move might also fund reshuffling. That's what I was talking about, reshuffling of the deck, right? Oh, the bond market's looking good. Let me go ahead and get rid of some of my risk, or portion of my risk assets, move over to bonds. And I might accumulate more risk assets later. So a lot of people are reallocating, reshuffling, readjusting, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And we got a whale that sent a bunch of funds to Doge. Now, did they sell is a question. Because Doge is down, right? So Doge is down to what? Where's Doge? 33 cents. Down from the 40-something cents that we saw earlier, 48 cents. So maybe the whale's getting ready. And as it climbs up to that 48 cents range, they're going to possibly sell. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Did they give us the wallet address? Here, yeah, let's go right here. Whale alert. So here's the Doge wallet address. Sender, receiver. There's the Coinbase address. All right. All right. So they sent to other addresses. Received, sent. A lot of moving around, huh? A lot of moving around. 58,000 Doge, Okay. So where did this go? $3,000. Maybe they're just paying some bills, baby. Paying some bills. Block confirmation. 2 minutes ago. Fee 1.1. Output. $85,000 Doge in this wallet. Okay. Yeah, I'm not hating on the person. Let them do what they need to do for their configuration. But that's a lot of Doge. Was it an exchange moving something around? Maybe selling through Coinbase? Who knows? We know that there's big investment firms that work with Coinbase, though. So it could be anything. All right. So now something you guys don't want to hear. Is Nvidia claiming these percentage gains with fake frames? The answer is yes. Frame generation is not new. Rasterization, asynchronous, all those terms. What I'm referring to when I was talking to some colleagues in the space is, first of all, when they say the 5070, a $550 MSRP card, is going to perform like a 4090, I would take that with a grain of salt. It will if the game you're playing supports DLSS 4. If the game does not support DLSS 4.0, it will not. Because for every frame they're generating, and you can scale it, right? You can choose 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 4. For every frame it renders through hardware and software, right? Because they increase the AI tops between the 40 series and the 50 series, but they also increase, obviously, the cores, tensor cores, and a number of other hardware elements to help improve this, and they're using AI enhancements to not only render additional frames, right? So one frame, you can render 2 more, 3 more, 4 more frames, thus increasing your FPS. Now, when it comes to first-person shooters, that might not always be a good thing because that usually introduces latency. But for MMOs, RPGs, things that you just want to see visual beauty and great details of objects, it's going to be a great thing. But it really depends on the title of games you're playing and whether or not you believe, like, some people don't want to play with DLSS, but I'll tell you the truth. A lot of people are playing with DLSS. I'm sorry to say it, right? Whether it's FSR, Intel's XeSS, or DLSS 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, people are using these enhancements to improve their frame rates and to smooth out the gameplay. But as Linus admitted in the WAN show, he prefaced that entire video with a red flag. The red flag is, in order to obtain this exponential performance increase, you have to utilize DLSS 4.0. I don't care. But if I'm going to benchmark something, I'm going to try to create an equal footing from hardware to hardware. Focus on the rasterization performance, or the raw rasterization performance, as best I can. And when we account for all that, I am straight up speculating a 20% increase performance to performance, generation to generation. Without DLSS and without some of the AI enhancements with this latest generation GPU, I'm only calculating a 20 to 25% performance increase. And believe it or not, most of that performance increase, according to my numbers and speculation, is because we're using GDDR7. But we can argue about this all day. Frame generation is not going anywhere. The enhancements of AI is not going anywhere. These are what all manufacturers, AMD, Intel, Nvidia, are moving towards. Whether or not you're going to utilize it is going to be up to you. I think the 50 series is very intriguing. I like some of the improvements they made, not just in hardware. Like, for example, have you seen the PCB for the 5090? It's 3 pieces, right? On the Founders Edition, the middle portion between the 2 fans is your core die and supporting components. Then there's like a connection between that and a daughter board that has the PCIe slot, and then that and another daughter board. I forgot what they called it, but basically it's like 3 PCBs into one, which is going to be a problem if people want to take the Founders Edition card and water cool it. But that's why manufacturers like Ecourse or Gigabyte are offering an already made or prepackaged water cooled card with the Ecourse water force. So I think it's really cool. How is mining performance going to be? We could sit here and speculate all day. I might make a video on that because, again, I looked at the data, the looking at the overall course. AI Tops is not going to do any goods for us, right? The tensor, some of the aspects of the die and the architectural improvements are not going to do anything for GPU mining. It may on some algorithms, like maybe Warthog and maybe other ones, but not all. So it's going to be primarily due to the core, power, efficiency, and of course the improvements with the increased memory bandwidth, the GDDR7. So I look forward to testing it out for you if I'm able to get my hands on it. But wait for day one reviews. Don't believe everything you read. And know that, we saw when they were showing the card without DLSS enabled, it was getting 27 frames. And then when DLSS enabled, it was getting 256 frames. Just understand that frame gen, where the AI is basically rendering out frames 2-to-1, 3-to-1, that's going to impact your performance. And some of the reviewers, the tech reviewers, are going to have to adjust their benchmarking behavior to make sure that it's a fair comparison between previous gen or even older cards or even AMD. Like, I'm interested to see how the 7900 XTX stacks up against the 5090 or the 5080 and so on and so forth. So we'll see how things pan out, performance to performance. But yeah, on this card, this is one PCB, like right here. If I could draw it for you. Let me pull up my snipping tool. So right here in the middle is the PCB. Here's another. And I believe the other one is here. Oh, excuse me. What am I doing? The other one's here, right, for your I/O. So that's crazy. Like, modular design. I think it's cool. Maybe a lot of people didn't like it, but yeah, you got a square right here, and it's heavy. According to Luke, it's got some heft to it. I'd be interested to know what the weights are. But you can expect the 5090 on January 30th. I am trying to work with colleagues and individuals in the space to ensure I get one, not only for my personal computer, but for bringing you guys content. I understand because of the hype, this is going to be extra hard, right? Those bots that used to buy shoes and then sell them on the secondhand market are going to make it hard for us once again. So mentally prepare yourself. There might be limited supply, and I'm sure Nvidia is going to try to sell as much as they possibly can on day one with the 5070 launching in February. So 5080, 5070 Ti and 5070 February, 5090 on January 30th. Again, I am going to do my best to get one, but I can't make any guarantees because this market's crazy and the hype is crazy as well. All right. So we're getting ready for Red Panda Mine to go live here in just a moment. If you guys aren't familiar with it, Red Panda usually goes on around 12 a.m. Or excuse me, 12 p.m. I go live at 11 a.m. Crypto Mikkel used to go live at 10 a.m. But Crypto Mikkel is busy doing great things with some of the mining farms. Wish him the best of luck. And I wish all you guys safety, right? Be careful. I know that the winter conditions, the storms and everything have, you know, messed some of y'all up. So I love you guys. Be safe. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you need help with something, you know where to find me. I'll be in the Jellyfish Discord later on in about an hour. And by the way, the poll that we did, do you believe or feel that the Bitcoin ETFs have lived up to the hype? 62% says yes, 37% says no out of 24 votes. So I appreciate you guys. Send me an ETH and get two. Yeah, Tech Man. Dan rugged me out of a moment in Vegas, Huckster. Well, I appreciate you guys. Hope you had a great time. People really feel like ETFs haven't helped BTC in the market in general. I think it has done a lot of good for the world. People who never heard of Bitcoin are interested when they are not before. Yeah, I agree. And I think, yeah, the Ethereum ETFs definitely bombed. Maybe XRP ETFs would do a little bit better. We'll see how things go. But very intriguing nonetheless. I hope you have yourself a great day. Hit that like button on the way out. Do me a favor. If you're not subscribed, freaking hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to stay up to date. Check out links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. Like today's live stream sponsor, Crypto Miner Bros. And go hang out with Red Panda Mining. I'll see you all later. Today's video is brought to you by CryptoMinerBros.com, a leading cryptocurrency mining hardware vendor/distributor, bringing you the latest offerings from Ice River, Bitmain, Goldshell, WhatsMiner, and much more from all the various manufacturers. And while they are headquartered in Hong Kong, they have mining distribution centers here in North America that can actually save you money on import duties, trusted by a number of different brands or companies in the industry. They also have a great following on social media, and if you follow them, you might get an update on whatever the latest offering is on hardware that comes out, as well as competitive pricing in the industry. If you're interested to learn more, click the link in the description and use coupon code SERPENTX at checkout. And by supporting our sponsors, you support our channel, and we